You know what it is. Friday Night Stock Talk. Subject, reviewing the month of April. Let's get to it. What's up, all my traders that have nothing else to do on a Friday night? You know, we're not out going to the bars, wasting our money, getting drunk, doing all that, well, okay, I used to do that stuff, but not anymore. It's not for me anymore. So, what are we going to talk about tonight? We're going to talk about the month of April and all of our trades. So, let's just jump into it. That's what I like to do. I don't like to, beat around the bush. We're here for a reason. Let's get to it. So, we're just going to go ahead and bring down our Stock Trader Journal, and we're just going to get started. So, we'll do the range. We'll just go ahead and put April 1st, 2019. And here's all of our trades from then. Well, they're already here, but if I were to hit this, it will show you our month of April. So in the month of April, we had 17 trades. Well, this is actually up until today, so we could change that, but we'll just leave it for up to today, and then, it is what it is. It's only 3 days. So actually, 3 days, because the first was, Wednesday, which I don't believe we actually traded, because that's when we were switching from SureTrader to CMEC. So 17 wins, $617.80 in trades. Average return, average winner, 36.34. Average loser, 0. All green in the month of April. Loving it. Total trades, buy and sell. So this is our tickets, 53 total tickets. As you can see, compared to the S&P, we kind of slaughtered it for the month of April. $617.80 was the amount. After total commissions, however, $190.55 in commissions. So grand total of $427.25. Super happy with that, guys. This is the very beginning. We're starting to, feel like we can start to scale. Like, our confidence is finally getting there. We're going to kind of see that as this progresses. So let's just jump right into the first trade here. So we had TGTX. Now, how I'm going to do this is I'm going to bring them up in Stock Trader, the journal. And at any time, if you guys want to go back and maybe read like I don't go too detailed in these notes. I actually have a different journal that I, do very detailed. It's actually just an Excel spreadsheet that I like to, just keep very detailed, like a detailed journal. But this is kind of just a summary of how I felt about each and every trade. And you can just see the trade itself here and whatnot. So, and I always take 2 pictures. I've actually updated this to include all the entry, everything, which you'll see as we go. But the actual chart, this actually was a pretty good one. Right out the bell, TGTX. This is clearly a pop and drop. This actually looks very familiar kind of to today's trade. And it actually ended up doing the same thing. So we ended up, getting the back end, and we weren't on the front end of this. She actually went up against us, didn't add, and we took our profit here. She actually did dump a little bit. And what we're starting to do now is, I actually haven't made a drink tonight either. I almost got more beer tonight, didn't. It's been a crazy week. But we're going to start looking to take, now that our commissions aren't $5 every ticket, they're only $3. We're going to actually be looking to feel more comfortable taking half of our position size, even if it's only 200 shares, to really kind of catch this extra move. We miss this extra move all the time because we'll get out when we feel it's stalled, and it's usually right at VWAP, and she'll pop back up. And, I always have that fear that if I don't take my full position here, she's going to pop back up and never come back down and test VWAP again, which in some cases it does. But in most cases, she does tend to make this move, and I always miss it. So, and you'll see that's a theme throughout these trades until really today was really the first time that I got around doing that. The second part of this, if anybody has a question about any specific trade, I can easily pull it up in real time on Thinkorswim, and we can go through the trade almost in, live. I can also pull it up on my YouTube channel. We go through it that way, however we want to do it. And, I can just give you my thought process on the trade itself. So if you see any trade that you have a question about, let me know what the question is, and we'll do our best to answer it the best that we know how. So let me welcome everybody that's coming into the room. Trader Cat, what's up, party people? Yeah, obviously we're not party people, but 100% win rate. Wow, you must be a superstar. Hey, man, you can't knock. Real quick, since I've started the new strategy, I mean, look at the sea of green. They're not big numbers, but they're consistent wins. And that's, to me, that is what matters, at least for right now. So let's do, when I first started, I know this number by heart at this point because I've checked this for a few times now, but my first trade, let me get rid of TGTX, was CLF was my first trade on the new strategy, which is right here. So in this ACHC, yes, it was a loss. Should have been a win. I had a buying power issue with this one. That SureTrader had restricted the stock. It was only 3-1 margin instead of 6-1. I thought it was 6-1, and it actually made me miss an ad at the top, which would have made this a green trade, but neither here nor there. But these are my stats since starting the new strategy. So 30-2. So I have a 94% win rate. Obviously, those two big losses on ACHC and IVC brought the overall number down, but we're finally getting profitable, guys. So it's getting exciting. It's actually getting pretty exciting. But that was a max loss. This was just greed. Of course, I don't have the chart on this one. But we can go back and look at it if we really wanted to. But the last take was just pure idiocy, if that's the word I'm looking for. But let's get back on track. So let's go to, basically what I'm trying to say is there's a ton of trades in here where you'll see there's $15, $20, 12, 13, 12, there's 10, 18. There's a lot of winners in here that, like, if you look at the charts, they're not horrible trades. It's just they could have been, much bigger winners. Twitter was actually a bad example because that one wasn't a great trade. Let me find, like, this one, ARQL. Of course, that's not when I was doing the charts. Crapper. Of course, I clicked it again. Let's do Ovid. See if this is one. So this is kind of an example where a lot of it was just taking profits early. I'll just chalk it up to that because that's kind of what we're getting at. But let's get back on topic. 0401 2019. Ovid. So the second trade, let me keep catching up. Elisa, welcome. Is straightforward. I know some traders that like to show cats, do shots, talk about. That would be our boy Jonathan. Yeah, I try to be as straight up as possible. Try to keep it on subject. That's why I'm trying to kick myself real quick. The small winners, they do add up. Unfortunately, just the one big loss at the beginning, I might have a 94% win rate, but that one big loss, the $200 loss, kind of, again, all those small winners, got involved in that. But when you really start looking recently, 116, 69, 54, 36, we had the 101 back in here. Like, we're starting to grasp, and we didn't change share size. We didn't scale up or anything. We're just starting to learn how to really benefit from the strategy, which, again, will kind of show that progression throughout the month. Consistency is, of course, king. You can easily make more share. Exactly. More share size. I could care less about P&L. It's about strategy and percentage returns. Exactly. So true. Because my mentor, he pretty much said, if you can make $50 a day consistently, you can make 500. Then you can make 5,000. Then you can make 10,000. Like, you can do it. All you're doing is just add, like, once you feel comfortable, all you gotta do is just add a 0 to the end of your share size. That's all you gotta do. He makes it sound like it's that easy. And it really is, if you think about it, People thought I was crazy trying to just make 10, 20, I don't know, 100 shares. That's 20 cents per share, though. I don't know. People, like, yeah, it's true. People do like big numbers, unfortunately, but those will come. I'm not really here. And by the time when I'm making big numbers, I probably won't necessarily, I'm not going to say want to do this because I don't see myself stopping this because I actually thoroughly enjoy it. But, you know, the big numbers aren't like, I don't want those people to come to me just because of the big numbers. Like, that's not why I'm here. Come to the dark side of large caps and turn 100 shares into $500. I mean, it's true. Unfortunately, I don't have the buying power for the large caps unless it's food so often. Not true. Yeah, I mean, but you could one day. You could. But yeah, I would never go from, like, say I'm trading 200 shares. I wouldn't just add a zero and go to 2,000 shares. I'm going to go from 200 to 300 to 400 to 500 to 600. Like, the way I'm going to scale, it's going to be that way. I could never just add a zero. That would just be, no, it's not going to happen. Okay, second trade. So we actually, if we pull up the calendar, let's see. Wrong way. April 1st was a Monday, so we actually didn't trade the rest of that week until Friday. I remember this week. There was just nothing to trade. There was no momentum that week. And then Friday, I remember we came across AEHR. And this was just beautiful. She started getting super extended. We actually took our first entry, and it felt like she actually did. I remember she comes down, and then she pops back up against us, like, real quick. She gives us that big pop up towards 220. We tick it. I want to say it was 400. And this was one that the only reason I had scaled up a little bit is because I noticed the range wasn't that big, so I knew that she couldn't just fly against us. So instead of 300, I took 400 on this one. So we got into 203. We added at 216, which was basically the top. As you can see, the top was like 219. We got rid of those top shares at 210, which is right here. So she came down, probably felt like it was the bottom, which it looks like it was right where she came over to the next candle. And then we ended up taking half our position here. The remaining out of the remaining 400, we took 200 here, and then we took the other 200 down here. Now, if I remember correctly, this thing actually kept fading off for the rest of the day as well, which I started taking pictures of end of day as well, or at least like middle of the day, just so I could get the bigger picture of my strategy. You know, I'm learning every day. Each day, you'll see that each one of these entries, like, in a way, somehow gets better. So that was actually a really good trade for us. Then we had Ovid. This was, I remember, I took this one, realized the range wasn't that great, and there was something else moving at the time. So right when she gave us this quick little pop down, I realized that the volume wasn't that great. The volume kind of just died after she made that quick move. So when she gave us this little flush under 2, I just took it and I went to go look at something else, and I think I ended up missing it because I didn't trade anything else this day, I don't believe. Yeah, I didn't. Do not just add no, especially not Tesla. I mean, Tesla is a little bit all over the place. One tweet can really change things for that stock. So I got PE over here. It looks like I only took 100 shares. I was in and out. Let's take a look at the chart. And this is another one. This is actually one where sloppy seconds would have been really nice. Let's pull this one up and take a look at it towards the middle of the day just to see what she did. So PE on... what's the date? 4/12. So PE, April 12th. And we'll just do end of day. It's fine. Okay, so she actually came back up. But as you can see right here, we missed this whole move. So we... where is it? So we caught the top at, what was the entry, 2025? So at 2025, which is right here. So we got in right here, and then we got out at 2013. So we actually got out as she was flushing down. And she actually decides to go for sloppy seconds. If you guys have been paying attention to my videos, I've been calling this second pop up the sloppy seconds because she doesn't come up. She comes up on less volume, doesn't hit high a day. And then after that, she usually fades just like this. I mean, it's a perfect play. Kind of, I guess most people call it like a bouncy ball, but to me, I've been calling it sloppy seconds because it usually happens 1 second time. So that was just the name I came up for it. But by taking, maybe riding this out, and I've been a lot more patient actually getting the bottom of this bar on this flush usually instead of the middle where I got this one. And then once you pops back up, if you still have half your position, you can actually add to it for the sloppy second. So you got a core position, which your average was up here. You can hammer it down again, just adding those half shares back, or, adding a full another position. So in this case, it would have been 100 shares. And then you could look to take those 100 shares off somewhere in here, and you still got those 50 shares to ride out if you want. So that's what we're looking to do from now on. And we're getting there. But as you can see, that was a lot of missed opportunity on this one because we got out here and we missed that whole second down move. Apparently it's saving or keeping all these open. Let's close these out. So that was PE. Adam, welcome. Everything is going well on my end. Next millionaire trader. Oh, snap. There's a lot of people on YouTube claiming to be the next millionaire trader. Less than 3 months in the stock market, 90% green, over $600 in profits last month. Who are you talking about? Sounds like me. Did Adam do that too? Or I don't know who you're talking about, so you have to let me know. So the next trade was ADNT. I actually don't remember this one. See, okay, so here's where you'll see I took later in the day pictures. So my strategy is when I do have to add, I look to get out of those shares 10 cents. I look for 10 cents. It's a quick little profit on those shares that I got above, plus it brings me back to my original share size at a higher average. That's the whole point. Every time you see me do this, you'll see an ad, and then most likely you'll see a cover close by because I'm trying to get back to my original share size. So if she does decide to run again, I can just keep doing it until, and the reason I feel that that's okay is because I'm only trading stocks that are super extended. Not super extended necessarily, but they're extended. So the odds are they're going to make a move back down. Obviously, yes, there are black swans out there, but those you just have to kind of read in the moment, and that's why you have max losses set up. And I do have a max loss of $200, as you saw. That was one that I had taken. That's always been a rule of mine. And, I probably should lower that a little bit while I'm account building, but I really feel like to give these some room, and just like as the strategy is playing out, that was kind of what I felt comfortable with. So that's where it is. But again, as you can see, I think this one actually ran back up. Yeah, but not after making the sloppy seconds. So as you can see, she actually comes up, comes down, and then she gives us that little pop for the sloppy seconds. And look how much of this move we missed. So she actually comes down to 22.20, and our last take profit on it was at 22.96. So, that's killer. That's a lot of money left on the table. So we're really working on that. And even right here, she decided to pop back up a little bit here after we took this, but she came down to 22.40 right at VWAP. And I usually look for this line right here. I look for that previous resistance that it broke through to get that push. That's usually what I'm looking for. So 22, and that's funny because if you go back and look at this, that's exactly where she hits. So that's usually why I'm looking for that, because the odds are if a stock is really strong and it's going to continue, usually when it bursts through that resistance point, it's going to come back down and retest it before it continues, at least in my experience. Oh, Eliza, come back. Hopefully it wasn't like a storm or something. I know we're supposed to get some storms here, I believe tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, maybe it's Sunday. But yeah, that was still a decent trade. But again, we're leaving a lot on the table. So ARQL, let's take a look at ARQL. This was me trying to play a descending triangle and actually getting really lucky for not following the rules. So what I mean by that is, actually, let me get this guy out. No, there it is. I don't use this all the time, so bear with me just for a second. Okay. So the descending triangle was right here. I use a different color. Prince Walla, thank you, sir. Appreciate the sub. Welcome. Assuming you're watching. Might just be watching a video on YouTube. Who knows? Yeah, I really should learn how to use this, huh? Let's use the pencil. I think it's darker, right? Yeah, okay. It's pink, too. All right, let's see what blue looks like. We use pink. It'll probably stand out a little bit more. All right. So here was the descending triangle. We were looking to play it. That's why we took our entry there. Now, when you have a descending triangle, you're supposed to set your risk at high a day. Do you see a cover candle right here as she broke that? No. Bad. This should have been a red trade. Should have been a red trade because the odds are she comes up. Most likely, she's going to keep going. We got very lucky. She denied 650, and everyone, for some reason, just decided to bail, and we got this flush, and I got lucky. That was luck, pure luck. So don't do this. This is the definition of a bad trade, and you got lucky, and thankfully, I like to think that I still learn from these. I still took the lesson away as if I did take a loser. However, some people will be like, oh, descending triangle, it ended up working, and they get rewarded for bad behavior, and that's not what you like to do. So next trade, let's clear that. That was ARQL. MRVL. I believe this one I was super mad about. Jonathan. Let me go over this one, and I will go get it. So MRVL, this was actually a pretty decent trade. Did I take 2 positions? Okay, I did. So I took 100 shares and then 100 shares. Excuse me. So we got in, and she popped. She was obviously pretty extended here. She drops down. We take our position, and we were actually, I think this is when we were talking about learning sloppy seconds. However, this actually wasn't sloppy seconds in my opinion. This was actually more of a double top. It came up, and we saw it failing, so we jumped back in. And sure, and again, guys, I'll tell you after that. But she comes back down, and this was actually more of an ascending, like, bull flag pennant, whatever you want to call it. And I think I took she actually ends up, again, those are kind of 50-50 if you ask me, but it's not a descending triangle. This is definitely more of like a flag. And obviously most people will call this a bull flag because it was after a big move. And, look at how much we kind of left on the table because we kind of got scared out. Obviously not by this, but we just felt like she was failing here, and we took our position. But if we would have had faith, I mean, I don't know. I'm not actually looking in hindsight. I'm actually not upset with this cover. It just so happens that she just decided to flush. But maybe once we saw her failing VWAP, we're not quite there yet, but that would have probably been a pretty key spot to realize, she's pretty extended still as far as from where she came from, and we could have got some extra, but not too upset about that one. But what did I do? I hit there. Okay. Okay, let me be right back. Jonathan. Tight quarters. Obviously you guys can't see it, but right behind me, literally right here, I'm touching the green screen behind me. I do not live in a very big house, so limited space. It's hard to kind of get in this little my little trading area, which we can, I don't know, I guess I could take a picture of it at some time to kind of show you guys. Yeah, I believe he's thirsty, needed a refreshment. Thank you, sir, for the support. I always appreciate it. Little ongoing thing me and Jonathan have, as well as GDT when he decides to show up. But, unless they keep rolling in like big time, one of them is just feel good, So unless we start getting out that cup that you used that one time, then that was crazy. But thanks again. That one actually tasted really good. Good old Bacardi. That reserve stuff, man, is so much smoother than just like the regular Bacardi. I don't know why, but I mean, obviously I know why, but it's just It's good. Anyways, so RCII. Slice of pizza. That's actually what I eat. Pizza Fridays. I make pizza every Friday. So this one actually looks interesting. Looks like a little bit of a slower trade. Looking at the volume, might have just been a pretty slow day. Was kind of just looking for something. Looks like we did get in over the 50, and then she popped against us. Honestly, not quite sure why we didn't add to this. Maybe we were looking for closer to 24. I mean, it would make sense. She didn't give it to us, so we just held on. And honestly, this kind of looks like a nice ascending triangle. Obviously, she didn't break down, so we actually picked a pretty good spot to get out, which I'm surprised. In hindsight, retrospect, whatever you want to say, I probably wouldn't have wanted to get out there, and probably until I saw her going back up. But maybe I saw this wick and saw her coming back up and realized that maybe she didn't want to fail. So that was that. What was the entry and exit on this one? So this was only 10 cents. I'm actually curious to what she did after that. So let's see, RCII on the 22nd. Again, guys, if you have any questions, feel free. Yeah, good old GDT. I know he's been like working during the day. That's why he hasn't been trading. I think he traded Monday. Yeah, he traded Monday, and then he didn't trade the rest of the week because of work. So, yeah, so this thing actually she did kind of curl back up, as we could see in my picture. But she decided to die off. So we did kind of miss a decent part. I mean, she came down under 23. So a little frustrating because it's 40 cents. But again, another small trade. But you got to realize too, it's 10 cents, with the commissions on this is a break-even trade on SureTrader, right? Because $10, we get $10 return. This is actually when they lowered it $1, so I actually made $2? Probably less than that after like the ECNs and stuff. But if you're taking if you're scaled up at some point, to 1,000 shares, this is $100, and you're paying the same commissions. So that's how you got to look at it. These small wins now, eventually when you scale up will be bigger wins. So that's kind of how I'm really trying to look at it. So SIEN, this was kind of, not what I typically trade, but, can't fault a super extension. I'm going to assume on this one, she actually popped up and I caught her on the way down, because usually when she's moving something like this, I would have probably been in on this candle, but maybe I pulled it up late. Was checking float or something. Again, I don't remember all my trades. But again, she was getting extended. We took 820 here. We were probably looking for the 8 flush. Felt like she was probably stalling at 8. We didn't get it. As you can see, she tapped it here, it looks like, and then came back up. So we decided to take our position there. And it looks like, sure enough, did we take a second picture there? No. This is the picture I take of now, though, is you'll see that I take a picture of just everything. It's just something I like to do for my journal. So SIEN. This is actually something we tried to trade yesterday, I believe it was too. SIEN, also on the 22nd. Oh, so this was actually an afternoon trade. Okay, so that would kind of explain the movement a little bit. And what was our entry? 863. So it was actually a good thing that we did get out, because she decided to. So this was at 140. So it was back here. So this was the move that we got in on, and she came down. She did test that $8 area, actually flushed under it a little bit, and then she moved back up. So it was a good exit, but a little early, as usual, per usual it seems. And again, that was actually a 16-cent winner. So again, they will add up as you scale up. It's all about consistency. AXL, this one I remember because of what she did after. I remember she hit VWAP and she kind of bounced up just for a split second. And I was like, nope, I'm not playing that game, because I remember I got this entry, didn't get my ad, and I was really not upset, but just frustrated that we didn't add, and we were just kind of, as she was hovering around here, we didn't want to add because it was too close to our entry. So we really just kind of waited it out, and then when she flushed down, and she touched VWAP and started to come back up, so we took it, and then literally like right after we hit the button, she flushed, and then, I mean, look at this move. So again, this is why, we're going to start trying to take half that position and really kind of see what she does, because this happens so often, and especially on the more recent charts that we're going to look at. But again, we still caught a decent chunk of this move. Not a decent chunk, it was actually probably like a quarter of the move, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So then we have GES. GES was, we took 100 shares and we got 18 cents out of it. And this was, at least we got a better picture on this one. Pretty much caught the top of this one, but again, just, my way of explaining it to most people right now is, it's just hard, because with paying that $5 a ticket like we were, it really gets in your head when you're only taking 100 shares. You're paying $5 for 100 shares. And if you're going to take half, you're going to pay $5 twice to take 50 shares both times. So in order to make that up with 5 or 50 shares, you would need to get 10 cents just to break even, just to pay the ticket. So as you can see, it's hard. Trading with a small account is hard. But if you can learn to trade with a small account and you can grow it and you can be consistent, consistently getting these 10, 20, 30 cent winners, you're going to do well, because you're going to figure it out. Like, you're going to eventually go to a broker where you're only paying $3 a ticket. You're going to find, just ways to better yourself overall. And when you finally do get that chance to start scaling up, you're going to reap the rewards, because you took the right route. You didn't try to, do the old get rich quick scheme. But obviously on this one, again, we kind of took our profits as we felt her popping back up, which she did. And then sure enough, she gave us that second flush, and you see it all the time. But then she kind of decided to, I'm pretty sure this was on earnings, so it would make sense. But we're just looking for that overextension, guys. If you see a common theme, it's these big green bars, and we're usually right at the, obviously trying to be right at the top of them, but not always. But that's why the strategy is awesome, because you don't always need to be right at the top. CSTM. Yes, look, again, it's the same thing. I didn't even wait till VWAP on this one, which is very frustrating. But big extension. I mean, we nailed the top on this one, 1070. And this was 100 shares. We actually grabbed 31 cents from this one. And could have been a lot more. The line we were looking for was right here. She even broke right through that after she got through VWAP. Again, I'm always looking for these key spots, when she breaks through, where's that next key spot that she's going to come down to test before she continues, if she does. And I mean, this one was just super extended. We nailed the top on this one. There is no reason that we should have really taken this spot before kind of seeing if she was going to make, what's this little bounce to us at this point, especially with 100 shares, if you really are only playing 100 shares, what's this? This was maybe 8 to 10 cents. So you're giving back 8 to 10 cents to see if you can get another 40 or 50 cents. But just frustrating, or at least down to this line, which was what, like 10, 15, something like that. So at least another 20, 25 cents. Just, I'm really starting to see this happen over and over again. I'm really starting to just get that screen time to really feel like we can start changing that. And you'll see I actually did really well with that today, once we get up there. So again, that was a great trade though, $31. That's 1,000 shares, it's $310. Eventually one day we'll get there. Even with 500 shares, that's 5 times that. So it's what, $150. Getting there. SOGO. Okay, we took 300 shares on this one, and we got 22 cents or 12 cents. Let's take a look at the chart. So classic. This one even gave you the quick sloppy seconds before she gave you the bigger flush. She comes up, and then she just kind of continues down here. Again, that key area, pre-market, pretty much like right here. And look at where that support, where she keeps tapping. So I'm assuming if we go and look at this, she obviously either goes up or down, but as you can see, this was just that key support area. So again, I remember this one too. She popped up over 6 and it was very instant. We got in right after she came right back under because we didn't even get a chance to get in over 6. I mean, it was literally like a half a second. And if you somehow got in over 6, power to you. But we ended up catching the big flush, and it was right at VWAP. We felt her coming back up to make this bounce. And how often do we see it, guys? I mean, it bounces and then always just continues to, it's like every time almost. It's almost more rare for it to bounce and keep going. But it's frustrating because it's just how it keeps happening. I mean, eventually she does bounce, but we would have been out of our move here. So what's this, 5, 8? I mean, I guess I can tell you exactly where we got out. 579, and she comes all the way down here, to the 565 area. Obviously, this didn't have a big range, but all right. Next one, Sogo, FDC. This was a bigger winner. So we actually scaled up a little bit here with 200 shares. We probably thought that the range wasn't that great. Yeah, sure enough, the range wasn't too bad on this one. Plus, we pretty much top ticked it. She actually tried to run a little bit. Probably told ourselves we weren't adding until, somewhere up here. We actually caught this flush. It looks like we got in and out, and then this was our sloppy seconds. I think this was the first time we actually told ourselves we were playing the sloppy seconds. And I mean, because that's what that looks like. So we actually got out here at VWAP when we felt her doing that bounce, and we got right in at the top of the sloppy seconds. But what did we do? We decided to cover early, probably because we felt like that was holding support. But unfortunately, this is one where we probably should have held on. Probably was just excited for the first time I played sloppy seconds. I think I do remember even in the video when I was live trading this saying that I was just excited to actually take the trade, because everyone experiences that. I'm actually talking to a buddy that's going through it right now. He's on a demo account and he's actually still having trouble just pressing the button and getting into a trade. I was a model citizen of that. I had trouble taking trades. I could sit here and call a trade out all day. This is holding, back when I was a technical trader, this is holding VWAP, the trade line's coming up through it. This is where I would buy, and I would never actually take the trade. And as frustrating as it was, a lot of the times I would have been right, but I was never hitting the button. And it's a bad quality to have. But it kind of happened again here. I hit the button, my heart started racing, this is my play that I'm calling sloppy seconds. I came up with a strategy, I hit the button finally, and your heart starts racing. You're like, you want to be right, but what if you're not? And, sure enough, I was I was actually really right, but I just didn't, the whole point of playing sloppy seconds is to really get that fade, and I got out way too early. So, options, get out of here, Trader Sauce. Guys in these options, I don't even know where to start with options. I don't even think I paid to have the options chain or whatever it's called. Ain't doing it. All right, so that was FDC. That was actually the last trade of April. So we're going to go over these 3 trades though. And then we can kind of go into some in a little bit more depth. So SFM, this was, let's see. This was actually a great trade. I remember this trade, obviously, because it was pretty recent. But look what she did. Again, after this trade, the night of this trade, I was talking to my mentor, we'll just call him B. I was talking to him, and I was just telling him how I keep going back and looking at all my charts, and I keep seeing this over and over again. Usually it'll bounce up to here for the sloppy seconds, and then she'll do this. But as you can see, and I even went over it in my video today, that it just constantly happens. They get these super extended moves. I'm catching this move, this exact move, where I get in towards the top, and then I catch the bottom, right towards VWAP. You'll see my exits are always near VWAP. because a lot of times in the past, the technical trader part of me knows that VWAP is kind of that major support level that people look for, and it does. Usually it will, even if it flushes through, it usually always gets bought back up, and it'll try to pull back through VWAP and go up again. But a lot of the times on these super extended moves, what I'm learning is that it's just that extended that she needs a real pullback. And usually, I mean, in this case, this was actually on good earnings. I remember hearing about that later. But as you can see, this too is just beautiful. I mean, you can draw it however you want, but I mean, that was a nice little descending triangle after a para descending triangle. And I mean, she just kept going. I mean, look at that full point, and just kind of left it on the table. And I remember this trade is kind of what really sparked me to start looking for what we're looking for now, like more so than we already were. Then came ACAT on the same day, and this was a fight, and I'm going to tell you why. VWAP is the major support, but for the stock that is down on the day, it should continue to the base of the overextension. Yeah, that's true. Bulls, what's up, man? For anyone who is looking for a newbie to YouTube, check out NYSE Bulls. He's kind of following, I don't want to say following the same path because I don't want anyone to compare themselves to me. Everyone's their own person. But, he's doing the whole live trading thing. So check him out. Definitely some good stuff. You have to maybe send me a picture, via private message or something. I always like to put a face to a voice. You got that like manly voice, so as you can see me, I'm very girly. I have a girly voice too, so that's why I have the beard, just to fool everybody. And I drink, alcohol to seem tough. But anyways, let's get to ACAT here. So this is not 2 entries. This is after we switched to CMEG. So with CMEG, they actually give you real orders. So like, as you can see, what happened was I went to put in 100 shares, and it filled me in 2 spots. So it gave me 90 shares and then 10 shares because that's how they came to the market. Now, the fact that I was getting 90 and 10 should have been just red flag number 1. I mean, look at the volume of this thing. Why did I trade this? And right when I got into this trade, I was, look how extended this thing was. I was like, I'm just going to play the extension from VWAP. And obviously this candle isn't real, by the way. This was old prints on the tape. But once I got into this trade, I realized I made a bad trade. It's up on earnings. When you have low liquidity, and I preach this, and this is why you'll understand this, why I didn't add up here and all this good stuff. But once I got into this trade, I just realized how crappy, and actually now that I'm thinking about it, this was 200 shares. It actually gave it to me 10 and 90 in one of those arrows and then 100 in the other. Yeah. But she was coming up, and I just saw how extended she was. I got in for 200 shares, and right away I just realized the stock just stopped moving. Like, it wasn't moving. Like, I pulled this chart up. I realized how extended she was. Didn't go through my checklist all the way. I didn't want to miss the move, and right after I got in the trade, look at how the volume just died. I mean, there's just nothing. And then sure enough, she kind of did this, and then she went up, and over 26, if this was an actual mover and this was doing this on real volume, I would have looked to add over 26, looking for this big flush coming back down towards VWAP, but it was just a bad entry. I should not have been in this trade. And to me, I was in a loser because I got into a bad trade, and I wasn't going to add to a loser, bad trade, loser, whatever you want to call it. So I basically was riding it out, and my max loss, I did look at the daily. I had my max loss, I took the 200 shares and I based it off 26.50. And I was like, if it gets there, I'm just going to have to cut it. It is what it is. I got into a bad trade. I'll just have to, take the, it's not a paper cut, take the wound and move on. But luckily, I told myself within the trade, when we got over 26, I said, if we get back under 26, we'll see what she does. If she decides to go back, like consolidate around here, because there's that, like I said, when she breaks that previous resistance, let's see what she does when she comes back down to it. Luckily, she went right through it. She retested it, as you can see on this, and then she decided to continue. Once she gave us the opportunity to get out of this trade break even, I took it. And I mean, I took it as fast as you can believe, because I was trying to let these 100 shares ride. I put a stop loss in 1 cent under my average, and said if it hits that, which was I think 51, it'll stop me out. Sure enough, it stopped me out, went to like 53 or something like that, and then continued the flush. But I was not upset at all. Somehow I got lucky, and the stock gods decided to let me get out of this trade break even. Should not have been in the trade to begin with. This was just a bad trade. And it happens, sometimes we just want more than we should. And I was feeling hot because SFM was, earlier in the day, like right here, I was coming off of a decent winner. I wanted to, keep playing. And I should have went through my rules. Everyone has rules, and this is why you need to follow them. But that is why you see the initial entry here, no ad up here, and the quick take profit, because this was just not my trade and I was in it and I shouldn't have been. So we got lucky with this one. It's all there is to it. Sometimes you just got to take your luck and realize it was luck and not let it happen again, which I'm pretty sure I did. Okay, man, you guys really talked it up for a second there. Let's see. Omwolf is making all this up as he goes. For stocks that are up on the day, dip traders, bulls are searching for it. Yeah, it's true. Seems to have worked for me so far. Pixar didn't happen. Just subscribed. I'm assuming you meant to MYSE. Yeah, he seems like he's on the right track already. He's just a new channel, but he definitely looks like he might have, kind of pondered before he made the channel. He just didn't make the channel and kind of learn as he goes. I told you, not in general, YouTube channels. Really, I'm interested. I see a 2-minute bull flag on ACAD. Yeah. 2 minute. Yeah, you're talking right here. Yeah, no, I agree. And it did work in that sense. A lot of people, will agree to disagree on whether these flags are bull flags or descending triangles. But I mean, either or, it doesn't matter, because whichever way it decides to go, it's going to go. And the only reason I usually consider, everyone likes to call these bull flags when they start to flag at the top of a big move. And in most cases, they're right. But when you have a stock that's so extended like this, obviously I'm talking on volume, not something like this. But usually you'll get that flag, pennant, triangle, wedge, whatever you want to call it, to really kind of get this move down. But instead she moved up before she came back down. But neither here nor there. I have lost big money when I didn't have a stop in place prior to entering a trade. Yeah, OCX. We all do. I have some bad ones. Yep. Sorry to hear that, Alpine trader. Yeah, mine was a little bit of an interesting trade with OCX. It involved my kid going to the bathroom and coming back 4 minutes later to find out that I went from being up $200 on the stock. This is before I really kind of honed myself in. I was up $200. I was in 1,000 shares. And next thing I know, I come back 4 minutes later after taking my kid to the bathroom. And I was in a halt, up $1.30. So I was down $1,300 from being up $200 in a matter of 4 minutes, because I didn't set a stop when I got up from my computer. So that was a lesson learned. Stopped out of RHE right before it crashed. Yeah, I saw that on your video today. That was a good job. That's why you have your stops. And if you don't have hard stops, you got to be sitting there with your mental stop. It's a big boys game. Yes, I am girly. Yes. Bull flags, they work. Just, again, I think if you have a flag that let's say, and this is obviously hypothetical, but say you had the move like to here, and then, or even to here, and then she starts the flag, it's a lot more likely that she can continue from there. But to me, when you have this super overextension, look how far away you are from VWAP. Most of the time, and you'll see on a lot of my charts, you'll get this move here to kind of come back down. But in this case, with the volume, when you have low volume, it's really just a matter of who's here to trade. If the volume that does come in and they're buyers, the stock's going to go up because there's no one to push it back down because there's no volume. And that's why I don't trade no low volume stocks. Way overextended there. Yep. First red candle, but sure, that's a bull flag too. Yeah. I nailed RHE today. Yeah, these low floats lately have, and you would think with a name like volatility trading that I would be trading all these low floats, but that's not the type of volatility that I'm talking about. Low floats aren't exactly in my wheelhouse. I like to call low floats the lottery because to me that's what they are. So NWL, this was to me one of my best trades so far, and I mean, this is literally my strategy to a T. And hopefully in the future, as you saw all those previous charts, obviously it sucks that this one didn't keep fading like all those other charts because I was really looking for this area here. And I even mentioned it in my video, if I could draw a straight line. I'm sure there's a way to do a line. I think you have to pay for it though, but I'm cheap. Comes along with being girly. But I was really looking for it to come down and test here. I think I edited it out in my video, but I actually I put, when she was coming down, I took this order. I initially put a stop for my last 100 shares, or not stop, but my cover order down here. I had it sitting there for a while, like throughout these like 3 or 4 candles. But then I'd taken it off when I realized that she was kind of holding, because if you noticed here, she came down and held support there, and that's exactly where she held support again. And I realized that was happening, and I wasn't going to just sit here and let it just, weasel me away. I thought about letting it go up the VWAP and seeing what she did there, but I just decided to take it, and I figured if she came up the VWAP and then started to come back down, I could always just get back in where I got out and be okay with it, knowing that I at least wanted to see what it did at VWAP. And sure enough, look what she did. She ended up going through VWAP and then coming back down and testing it, and then she stayed up above it. And I'm pretty sure she kind of went up. I think she went up towards high a day towards the end of the day as well. Actually, I guess we can check that without needing to. All right, I already had it up. Oh yeah, look, she actually hit high a day right at the end of day. So we caught probably as much of that move as we can in hindsight. So let's pull that back up. So how this trade happened was just, as you can see, she wasn't this super extended like you see in most cases. And there's so many trades that I missed because they would only make this move and then come back down. So they would get extended, but not super extended like this actually did. And I would miss that move because I was looking for the super extension through the 50 pop, all that good stuff. So here's the 50 pop. I remember getting in under the 50 pop because I was like, it doesn't feel like she wants to go. And I literally got in. I went to check where I got those shares. And as I came back to my chart, she was over 50. And I was like, dang it. But we ended up getting the flush back down. We took our 10 cents. I think it was exact. Gotta change back to it was actually exactly 10 cents on those first shares. See, 200, then we took the 200, then we took those at 41 up top, sold them at 31, and we actually got the gift. The gift is she came back up and she was still extended, so I felt super comfortable knowing that she probably wasn't going to break high a day again. The moment I felt the tape kind of stop, I jumped in. We got those at 52 right there. And we're only looking for 10 cents again on those ads so we can get back to the original share size. But when she came back up for that second time, I almost just knew that we were going to get more out of it because everyone realized, all the bulls in this were saying, hey, okay, we're not going high a day again. I guess we're going to sell. So anyone who didn't sell on this one is now selling on this one along with everyone else that is selling on this candle. And that's why you get these big moves back down towards VWAP. So we actually ended up getting, I think, 20 cents on that ad. Yeah, it's 52, bought at 32. So now we had our 200 shares left. So we got down to VWAP. This is a typical buy spot you'll see for me because I always get out knowing we're going to get this little bit of a bounce, which we did, but I only took half my shares. So I still had 100 shares looking for that fade back down to this area that we had pointed out before. This is the area we wanted originally when we first got in. We wanted it to come back down and retest this area before she continued this move, but obviously she was a pretty strong stock as you saw throughout the rest of the day. So when she came down here, she never retested this area, showing that she was strong. And we made the right move and we got out, which ended up being pretty much the low of intraday. I mean, minus where she opened. So I haven't felt this good about a trade since we started the strategy, and it just goes to show you throughout this, month and a half of using this strategy, actually almost 2 months now, that we're really learning and moving forward, and we're getting really confident with it. And I mean, when you just see win after win after win, and you keep seeing the charts and you keep learning from the charts, and you're just growing that consistency using that same strategy, your edge that works for you, it's undeniable. You start to feel confident about it. Like when I first started, I didn't, think I was going to easily be able to make money, but the more and more I use the strategy, the more and more I feel like it's getting easier. So, and I'm starting to learn as well. And you might say, well, how do you know how to deal with a loser? Well, first off, that's why the max loss is there. And second off, technically these are kind of dealing with losers, at first. That's, as you can see, that's why I said this is like the perfect definition of how my strategy works. When I have to add, I look to get out. So 200 shares, 400 shares, back to 200 shares with a higher average. So now my average is like here. So then when it comes back up, 200 shares, out 200 shares, but now my average is up here. So now when we get this flush, I have the original share size of 200, but with a higher average. So now when we get this flush, I'm closer to the, essentially what high of day was, looking for these moves. And that's how the strategy works. Obviously, you can get those ones that just decide to go straight up, but that's our job to try to avoid those that do that. That's why you don't play the low floats. That's why you don't play the ones that can do that. That's why you play ones with liquidity. That's why or volume, same difference, but that's why you kind of try to knock out all the possible factors of that happening, and you only play the ones that you can feel comfortable playing. Copyright issue. I feel like I missed a bunch. You guys are talking it up in here. Just kidding. I love small cappers. Yeah, I mean, everyone loves the small cappers. That's where everyone buy before Ross, sell before Ross. That's impossible. You can buy before Ross, but you will not sell before Ross, because that dude is in and out. He's in and out 9,000 shares in 2-3 seconds. It's crazy. If you ever go watch his videos and look at his timestamps, it's nasty. I don't know how anyone in a chat room would want to even try to follow that. I mean, you're just never going to do it. How long have you been trading? Just found your channel. Is that to me, Alpine? I've been trading since August. Like the beginning of August. Do you mainly trade short reversals or reversals in general? I'm looking for what you would call a parabolic short. Is mainly, I call it a pop and drop. But usually the pop and drops are just ones that you get the pop right at the bell. That's like where the essential strategy came from, the pop at the bell and then the drop. I just call them all the pop and drop, but really what they are, a little bit like later in the day. Anything that you see later in the day, I tend to call like a parabolic short. But basically I'm just looking for any big move that gets really extended from VWAP in a very short period of time. The quicker the move, the better. So like if you just grind up, like today, it was full of grinders. I'm scrolled over. I was like, what is this? So like PEI today, like this thing just grinded, obviously on lower volume, but look how there's no like quick moves. And like the extension from VWAP is there, but it's just nothing like really quick. It just like a stair stepper. What was another one I was watching? I know one that happened at the end of the day, COTY, and I had no shorts on this. It popped up on the scanner and I wanted it. I could have located the shares, but literally by the time I pulled up and found out that I could actually locate the shares for free, it would have been $25 to locate them, but it wouldn't have cost me anything per share. I had pulled that. I started looking right around the 1240 area, and by the time I had found that out, like within like 15, 20 seconds, I think it was, it popped up like this and came. It was already back down to that 1240 area, so I felt like I missed the move. But as you can see, this thing's stair-stepped all day, but I'm not looking for any of this. What I'm looking for is this. I mean, look at how quick. These are 2-minute candles. So within 4 minutes, it went from 1190, like 1180 something, or was this? Yeah, like 1195, all the way up to 1270 in a matter of 4 minutes. That's what I'm looking for. I would have been looking for this quick move, and I would have been looking for that 50 pop, and I would have been in over that 50 pop looking for exactly this. And hopefully, the way I've been playing it, especially today, I would have probably looked for, I mean, probably this area I would have been at least looking for this area. And as you can see, I did a little too much there. As you can see, she's kind of started the base there, and that's where we would have been looking for this area here. So that's a big move. That's 70, 80 cents like that. And even if we only got that one entry, we could have looked to take half there. I mean, and look, she doesn't look like she really gave you a reason to get out except for maybe here. So maybe we take half there and then look for the rest down towards this line, which we would have essentially got. So that was a perfect example of, to answer your question, Sauce. We're not looking for these stair steppers. That's what I call them. We're looking for these intense moves. That's why I'm with the Intensity Stockwatch scanners. Those scanners find all these moves, and it's pretty much all day just looking for these big intense moves. And it actually, I can tell you, it alerted this one at 1246. So somewhere right there. So it alerted it there. It gets you to pull up the chart. You see it's making that big move, and then sure enough, you look to play it, and the rest is history. Well, let me pull one other one up that was like a stair stepper that I was looking at. Zixi. That was the other one. So this was another one. As you can see, like, she kind of just stair stepped. There was no like big move. Like here at the beginning of the day, this was actually one that I felt like I'd missed because she did kind of make a big move. But I remember why I didn't play this. If we scroll back a little bit more, because she didn't get that super extension off of a previous resistance. I mean, she basically kind of double topped. But what I'm looking for is for this thing to come up and like come up into here, so that what I'm looking for is to get in up here for her to come down and retest that level. So that's my trade. This is not my trade. That's why I didn't play that. But I remember later in the day just kind of watching it because it kept stair stepping up. But that's what we're not looking to play. So we're looking for those quick moves, the intense moves, the volatile moves. Another guy talking, hello, don't even know his name, volatility. My name is Tim, if anybody's curious. It's not about you, Jonathan. I believe he self-proclaimed as Big Papa. He had an old channel called Big Papa Short Shorts. It was a copy. Okay, that's good. That makes sense. He should have us on a voice call in the background as the peanut gallery. Oh, geez, that would be too much. Yeah, that would be pretty funny. The ISW call. Yes, we are. But trend is your friend. Yeah, the trend is your friend. Yes. I don't disagree, but to me, a more high percentage play is what I'm playing, and the numbers don't lie at this point. The trend is definitely your friend. I mean, look at this. Overall, this thing is bullish, but on a quick, right here in pre-market, it made a pretty big move. And this was perfect. I mean, look what she does. When she makes a big extension from VWAP, she usually always comes down and tests VWAP again. It's just how the market works. And look, I mean, like almost every time she makes a move up, she comes down, tests VWAP. Makes a move up, comes down, tests VWAP. Makes a move up, and eventually she'll touch VWAP. But again, if she's a stair stepper like this, VWAP steadily climbs as well. And that's why we don't play with the stair steppers. But when you get these big extensions like this, they tend to come down and touch VWAP. And a lot of times they go through because they got so overextended. And human psychology tells you, as a stock's rushing back down like this, to get out. And so it kind of plays in your favor to play that side. But that's why you have the other side of things when she's making a big move down. There's people in ISW, and I'm sure around the world, that play the dips instead of the top, trying to short the tops. They'll long the dips. Long, was it buy the dip, sell the rip? Couldn't think of it for a second there. When did he say he was covering options? to know. Where is your stop on that particular strategy with this trade? And that is a good question. That's the part I don't get, when it has gone too far against you where you stop averaging up. It's a good, I mean, it is a great question. Let me, was it, well, this was yesterday though. Yeah. When did I play? Yeah, I played this yesterday. Let me try pulling it up on just the chart itself. I can kind of explain it on ACAT a little bit. So in this case, this was a bad trade. Well, let me not explain it on this because that's not my strategy. That was just a wrongful trade. Let's do it on NWL, which I can actually do today. So that'll be very helpful actually. So on NWL, let's say I were to add, say I added too early like I did, and she went up to 50 here, and then she went straight to 17, right? Well, my last add would be there at 17. I obviously would assume she's going to come back down, because imagine how that would look on this chart. Like if I thought she was extended here and she shot up to 17, imagine how extended she's going to look up there. Now, obviously, you're going to have what they call the black swan. It's out there. It's possible. Again, usually probably not going to happen on a stock like NWL, which has a float of 414 million. They're usually only going to typically happen on lower float stocks. And that's why I try to stay out of anything under really like 30 million is kind of my minimum. If it's under that, I'm really skeptical, unless it's a smaller range and the daily doesn't look like, you know, it could go crazy. But my max loss, the odds are, like, if I get into a trade like that with my share size, I could have an unrealized of $200-300. But, and I know I said my max loss is $200, but what I'm playing at is the odds of it staying up there that far are so unlikely. But now, if I finally get that drop and I, you know, get out of some of my shares, and she looks like she's actually going to stop, like say she went up to 17 and then she came back down to say 1670, and my last ad was at 17. So say I took out at least those top shares, and say she wanted to stop here, you know, like we had said before, she breaks through a resistance and then she tries to retest that line before she decides to continue up. Why did my thing get smaller? Oh, it's too big. So say she decides to, there we go, test this line and then actually continue back up. Well, now I still am in these 400 shares that were from down here. You know, my average might be somewhere like right under here. But if she continues, I'm in a bad spot, right? I'm in a really bad trade. Well, at this point, my unrealized had to have came way down. I also took out the 200 shares from up top. So the odds are my unrealized is back well below the 200 mark. It's probably somewhere in like, the 100, 150 or whatever. At that point, if I realize, okay, she's not going to break and she decides to try to go back up towards 17, that's where the max loss would come into play. So if she decides that she's going to try to, you know, base out right here and then move her way back up, then if she gets to that $200 mark, that's where I would have to cut it. And I would just have to, you know, pour some salt in the wound. But again, with this strategy, just imagine when she makes that move, how extended she would be. The odds of her not making some type of move back down before at least attempting to go back up are just very unlikely. So, I mean, that's really the best I can answer that question. With this strategy, it's really hard to say you have a set risk going into the trade, but you have to know the risk that's involved going into the trade. But that's why it's a high probability setup, because no one wants to take it, right? 10%. There's a reason why they're called the 10%. So there it is. I mean, that's really my explanation to that. Ross is very much a genius marketer. The dude at this point doesn't make his money from trading. I mean, he obviously makes money from trading, but the bulk of his money is not from trading. I bet you that guy, just like Tim Sykes, I think Sykes is making like upwards of $4 to $6 million a year or something. And he's posting like $100 wins, here and there. So obviously he's not making his money from trading, just like Ross is slowly kind of going that way. And he's getting ready to go back down to doing small account challenge again. So it just goes to show you where these guys actually make their money. I want to be the other way. I want to get to the point where I'm not ever going to try to sell you guys anything. I'm here for you guys and, and myself. Like, this is my journey. I love going over these trades. I love being asked these questions so I can be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I am missing something, and maybe I can learn from something you guys say to improve myself, and hopefully we can all improve each other. That's the whole point of this. So you'll never see me try to sell you anything. And I hope to be to the point where trading actually is my career and not trying to sell people courses. 1 million in trading, 2.5 years. He makes like 5 million a year from the business. Exactly. Yep. Using RSI? Question mark. I'm confused. What do you mean by that, TraderCat? For me, low of previous day, again, dependent on the stock that I'm looking at. I traded NWL today and went long 1 minute bull flag. This one? Right here at the beginning? If so, that was beautiful. But again, that proves my point from earlier that look how not that extended this thing is. So if you're playing this one, that makes total sense. But now up here, like if this one, if you really want to, we can probably look at the 1 minute. Let's see. Yeah, see, look at what that looks like now on the 1 minute. So if you're playing this flag, which makes sense, you play that breakout. But now look, when she's actually more extended, you get that same thing. So you could essentially call this a bull flag too, right? But to me, this is a descending triangle, and look what she does. So again, when you get an extended move, the odds are when they make these flags or wedges, again, whatever you want to call them, the odds are it's kind of a descending triangle, or at least it's going to act like one. My options course, I think it's going to be like $9,999. Take pre-orders whenever you want to send them. Just go ahead and send them to, I don't know, I take checks. They can bounce because I'm never going to cash them, but it'll be out in like 3 years when I never learn options, but I'll act like I know what they are so I can sell you the course. No, I know what RSI means, relative strength index, but I think he was asking, are you asking if I use it? TraderCat, I'm confused. And by the way, guys, at this point, I don't have any more trades. I'm going to check out at 11 Eastern. So if you have any questions, ask them. We can do anything. We can go back over one of these trades if you wanted to go back over something, ask any questions, all that good stuff. So again, like I said, we can actually go back and, watch a trade live. I can watch it on my YouTube channel. We can go over a trade like that, all that good stuff. Yeah, release date to be determined. There was actually somebody that did that, and I saw it on the Guru Leaks Twitter, where they were supposed to put something out, but they just never did, and they took a bunch of pre-orders. I was going to add in that second flag at the break at 1670. Yeah, that's a good thing you didn't. Tim, Trade Nut Challenge. What about it? Am I entering? What do you mean? She just wants to know how to spell it. Spell what? RSI? I'm so confused. Like, what is the RSI question? Please answer. Answer. TraderCat. Am I saying he? I'm sorry. It's just natural. Everybody that trades is a he. It's just how it is, right? And all the stocks are called she's. It's such a sexist thing to say, but unfortunately, that's just how it is. So, TraderCat is too beautiful to be a he. Well, I don't know what TraderCat looks like, so what is the TradeNet challenge? I'm confused. At the end of May. Oh, is that the thing that Mir posted about? I saw his thumbnail, but I didn't actually watch the video. Should I? I can watch it before I go to bed. Do I use RSI on those extensions? I do not. I don't use anything. I'm glad you finally asked. Um, the main things I'm using are VWAP. I am using volume, and I am using time and sales. Though, I mean, those are really the three. And I mean, I'm using, like, I'll look for levels on the daily. That's the one other thing I look at. But this is like my two main rules. Like on my look left on the daily, check the float. Those are my two like major things that I will do before entering a trade. These three things are just kind of natural at this point, so that's why I don't have them written down, because if it's not extended from VWAP quickly, I'm not looking for it. Like as you can see, this was a pretty quick move. The time and sales is really just to try to read the top and get the best entry. And if the volume's not there, I'm not getting in the trade. So that's really that simple. Top profit trader wins. Top 10. It's all there. Okay, yeah, I'll look in there. Everyone that enters is provided with a demo account. I feel like that's not gonna really, like, so you're given a $240,000 demo account, and top trader are gonna be someone in there for. I'm confused. So you get a demo account and you trade on it, right? So some people are just gonna go balls out, and probably like you could win from making bad trades. I'm just confused because all it would really take is one person to like go all in on something like Hunt or just some random low float stock and get lucky. I'm just confused at like what's the challenge? Like what do you win? I'm confused. Like what's the point behind it? Low Mufti make money trading. Of course he makes money trading. Dude's made of money. He's so made of money, he's going to donate $10 to me right now to take another shot. Just saying. All right, let's see. What can we talk about for 13 minutes? Productive. The month of April. Let's pull back up the chart. Yeah, just to give you guys a brief overview. As far as this is my full journey. So I can actually, so July 22nd was my first trade. Or no, it wasn't. I don't think, maybe, no, I don't think it was. I think, August 21st. That was the first day. Let's just go look. What? Oh. Yeah, look at this. Look at these first couple of days of my trading career. It's pretty bad. Kind of sucked. Tim, it is a way for them to promote trade net max loss on a day is 3,500. Yes, I agree. I've made 8,000 in a day on a demo. No big deal. Yeah, it's true. Obviously there's rules. I didn't really want you to donate the $10. I'll do it at the end. I'll take the shot at the end. I promise. I agree. Someone is going to go all in a low float runner, and yeah, it's definitely gonna happen. 50K glitch on sim. Blake, what's up, man? How you doing? Wins because all the participants are hit sale. Yeah, it is true. I guess it's pretty good marketing technique, which is kind of crap, but if that's what they got to do, they probably lost a bunch of customers if you think about it, with the whole Patrick Whelan thing. Yeah, Blake, I noticed, I was just checking out your YouTube channel earlier. I noticed that you haven't been semi-active. Or no, it wasn't you. You still do your like live streams and stuff. Someone else I was checking out, and it's been a couple months since they posted. I was kind of sad. No, that's not how it works. What works? But yeah, as you can see, the beginning of my career wasn't that great, and I was using way too big a size. I literally, look, this is August. This is when I started. I think I started watching like YouTube videos like crazy. The beginning of July, I ended up on Ross Cameron. I was on a demo account for like a week, and I was killing it. And I was like, oh, this is nothing. So I literally jumped pretty much right in, loaded up on SureTrader, and literally my first day. Look at this, 5 trades on the first day. Look at the emotions that you can only imagine I went through. I lost over 20% of my account. It was closer to 30%. And this NUA trade was actually overnight, which I didn't actually sell until the next day. Yeah, look at some of these share sizes. Look at the commissions. No, looking back at these, it's just crazy. Like actually went back on Thinkorswim on demand and was like watching these happen, and I'm like, what was I doing? But it was quite the roller coaster. And as you can see, I mean, throughout this whole little uptrend on my P&L, just trying every strategy known to man, support resistance, EMA crossovers, just VWAP support resistance, Bollinger Bands, alligator indicators. I mean, anything and everything you can think of, I tried. And as you can see, I was pretty good at figuring out like winning trades, regardless of what strategy I was using. But I was so like 50-50. I was just doing pretty decent at cutting my losers pretty quickly and getting somewhat lucky with my winners kind of running for me. So looking back, I realized that. And then sure enough, I think this was, what was this, November 27th? I don't even remember what that big loss was. Oh, yeah. So I switched from SureTrader right here over to Interactive Brokers. And I was on PDT. And this was my attempt at swing trading. Time, ASNS. ASNS, if you remember, was a big runner. I was actually down a lot more than this. She ran up way against me, but I held forever. Let me see. Yeah, look, I got in on the 29th of November, didn't get out till the 7th of December. So this was my attempt at swing trading, and it just, as you can see, I went through a pretty bad stint right in here. And then this is when I found Intensity Stockwatch, and right before I found them, and this was OCX. And OCX was a killer. But look at how raggedy and jaggedy and all this looks, right? And now look at ever since I've been using this new strategy, which was it was actually right here. This is August or February 8th. Yep, right there. So this was IVC. This was the $200 max loss. This was ACHC. But look at it. I haven't had a red trade since then, and just look at it. So hopefully the red trades, I mean, yeah, they're here, but even when they do hit, look at they're kind of minute compared to now the overall trend. And it's looking good. I feel so confident with this, strategy. It feels very consistent. We're starting to learn how to make it win larger, even with the same share size. And that's the big thing. We're not using bigger share size. We're just learning how to utilize the strategy even more than we are. And it's none of this crap. So we're looking to hopefully, and we just the other day, I think it was earlier this week actually, that we passed that 0 mark finally. And like I said, overall, we're actually still down quite a bit. Let me change it back. So overall, my whole trading career so far, I actually am up to 70%. Before I switched to the new strategy, I think I was at like 61% or something like that. But my overall trading career, we're actually down $1,707. So it used to be a lot more. But that was, I mean, it's commissions at this point. As you can see, my total commissions are $1,916. And, you know, a lot of my losses right now are that big OCX trade. And just the fact that early in my career, I would cut my winners early, you know, still have been with a new strategy, but it's a new strategy. We're starting to learn. And now we're getting there. So we're actually $209 over zero at this point, and we're going to look to keep growing. So I feel like this right now is as transparent as I can get for you guys. But this is the chart that I like to look at because commissions are not going to matter if we keep scaling correctly, and they're part of the game. You know, you can't get around them. But this is what matters, and you can't deny all this green. I love looking at it. I mean, just tons of green right here. CLF, 2 reds. Love it. All right, let me read. They don't allow low floats. Yep, also true. But you don't need a low float. I mean, well, they don't allow stocks under $10 usually. I'm pretty sure they allow low floats, just not. And it's usually like not just the first day. Usually they add it, if I remember. I'm pretty sure Jonathan can back me up on that one. Yeah, Patrick put a dent in them. Yeah, Patrick met with Guy. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that video. Guy is an interesting character on Twitter, so I'm curious to like see him in an interview, like scene. Patrick called them a Ponzi scheme. TradeNet got mad and was going to sue. Patrick deleted all of his stuff and didn't get sued. Very true. It was actually pretty funny. I was watching it all happen live the day that Patrick just like flipped a switch. Honestly, haven't kept up with Patrick. Yeah, me either. He's like a fisherman now or something. You condense like 5 videos into 3 lines of text. He did. It's pretty good. It was funny stuff. Yes, it was. People overthink TradeNet. It's basically a firm that lets you trade a demo with a deposit. They make enough money from deposits so they can pay out those very few that actually make money. But hey, now Mira is my best friend after the drama. I can't argue those CFDs are amazing for larger size. Yes. Larger size equal big money equal big red flag on IRS. Yes. So better not use CFDs. Uncle Sam wants his money. Yes, you can't run and hide from Uncle Sam. So this strategy is new to you. You have been super careful, been there, done that. Yes, very new. Just February 8th. That's literally the day that I started using it. And yes, you do not have to be 100% right. Again, just looking at NWL, I mean, this is, I will use NWL as the poster child for my strat at this point because it can't get much better. The only way it can get better is if this would have faded and you see my last cover probably here at this area of support versus where it was. But my strat, a lot, you know, people play the same strat just differently. Like they'll add and then they'll have a third ad and they'll use that as their final ad with none of these covers. So then if it breaks high a day, they're out with nothing. Like they'll just have their 3 entries and that's that. Like if it hits here, that's their max. That's what they can say. They don't have a max loss. They just have that area there that they would say, okay, I'm done. But they would then, you know, have a big, like if they would be holding 600 shares for this move. So they can make a lot of money doing that. Whereas I'm taking the safer route per se, where when I add shares, I'm looking to get out of them and just get the higher average, just in case she does try to extend even more. Because what I'm playing, you know, the law of averages per se, and the odds and probabilities of what the trade's going to eventually do. So in my head, when I see a move starting to get really extended, in my head, the probability of this thing coming back down is very good. But when is the question? So if I can stay in the trade long enough by averaging myself up and getting rid of those shares as we go up, the odds are I'm going to catch that bigger move, even if it's with just like my original share size. So that's the point, or like that's basically what I showed you in NWL today. I'm not going to forget it. Don't you worry. I'm actually looking forward to it. That first one, for some reason, it tasted like really good. Be right back. I'll go get it now because I am going to start to close this out. Unless anybody has any questions. Get some questions in there. I'll answer them before we close this up. I actually am kind of happy you made me take a second one. It's going to make me sleep well. I actually get to sleep in tonight. That's kind of why I'm keen on going to bed. I would like to get some good rest. I got to wake up and change the oil and both of our cars tomorrow. So there's that. And then I umpire a doubleheader tomorrow as well if the rain holds off. So that'll be fun. So anybody got any questions before we get out of here? Don't forget to hit that like button. You know, I don't get paid for any of this, but I just like seeing the likes go up because it makes me feel like I'm doing something right. All the support you guys show me, you know, via the subscription and all that good stuff, it makes me feel good. You know, it makes me feel like I'm actually helping out, and that's why I'm doing this. It started as a journal, but I'm starting to realize that, you know, the more and more questions I get, and you know, I'm actually just, you know, you're not going to meet much more of an open and honest, you know, blunt person. You know, I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear, you know, unless the blunt truth is what you want to hear. So, Shirley, you're a little late to the party. Late to the party. Disco Discord. Gallery Lambo. Yeah, here, let me show you my my new car. There it is right there. Oh, look at this thing. That's something out of a movie? Or for a movie? No, I have no interest in any of these cars. If my like dream car is this guy. I mean, you can obviously see any of the pictures, but the 177s, which is actually 176, when they were delivering them, one kind of fell off the boat. But yeah. Oh, hi, Jess. What's up? Everyone's coming late. Nissan GTR, get out of here. What's a GTR? Trying to see if I can be any kind of constructive on this exit. Anybody got any questions? Last call. Obviously, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that thing, hit the like button. I see some of you did after I said that. I appreciate that. Trying to think of anything else. Was there anything else that we can talk about? We're on our road to 1 million subscribers. Yeah. Yeah, whatever. I'm just kidding. I don't think anybody on like the trading type platform will ever get to 1 million. Oh, look at that. We were at I was so happy this morning. I was just telling my wife we were at 148 and we hit 150 around, I don't know, like one at lunchtime, somewhere around there, and I was like, we're at 150. I remember when we first started, I like got to 20 and I was like super excited. I was like, there's 20 people subscribing to my channel. And then we had the 100 sub giveaway. And I have not expected, you know, when I had 100, I was thinking I would have been lucky to have like 20, 25 at that point. And now we're at 155. You know, we're growing, and it feels good. You know, obviously, maybe I'm doing something right. You know, I'm just putting myself out there, just telling the truth, doing it right, not hiding anything. You guys want to know something? I'll tell you. Boom, boom, bada boom. I like WY entry. Tell me we're not talking swing trades here. I like WY entry at 27.20 with a stop loss of 80 cents with a price target of 31 with 4.75 to 1 win ratio. So I guess we're going to have to look at the daily on this one, huh? Now, this is actually going to be pretty interesting because all right, real quick. Jonathan, thank you very much. Bacardi is on you. And wait till next live stream that you do. What's that going to be in like a year, 2 years? Thanks for the support, Jonathan. Always appreciate it. Anybody wondering what this is, donate $10. I take shots. It's a thing that me and Jonathan and GDT and Kevin Avery and all them guys do. But that's what this is. So bottoms up. Okay, that one hit a little bit. That one almost like was stronger. Kind of weird. Ooh. Okay. All right, so 2720. Let's just pull the daily up here. So let's see. Let's draw some lines. So you want to be in at 2720, which is here. But the price is below 2720. I'm confused. Or you're just saying you like it because it's going to break that line. Okay, I got you. Stop loss of 80 cents. So that would be at 40. 26.40. Hey, look at that. That's where low a day from yesterday kind of was. That's what that big red bar is. So 40. Could be kind of tight, huh? And you're looking for shotgun beers. No, I have not got my tooth fixed yet. I actually didn't feel it on that one. But you'll notice when I take the shot, I kind of put it to the side because the bad tooth is up here. 4.75. So 80. So what's 80 times 4? 8, 16, 24, 32, 75. So you're kind of looking for like 32-ish, 32.50, we'll just say. Or we'll say, since you said 75, we'll just kind of go up towards here. All right, so let's zoom out and look at the grand scheme of things. Well, I mean, if you're looking to go all out on this one, I mean, I would say you should realistically be looking for maybe this area or this area or all the way up here. I mean, where I'm assuming your 4.75 would be somewhere in here. I don't know if that's just a number that you're going for, but I mean, you're kind of in la la land at that point. I do like that entry. I see what you're doing here. She kind of breaks this big consolidation area, and you kind of have that up. She's kind of in an upward trend right now, although she is kind of broke through that. Like if you want to look at it more so of like that, she kind of is consolidating through it a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know anything about this company either. And when you get into swing trading and stuff like that, it's a little bit more about that kind of stuff. And I'm just not really into that. But I mean, I can kind of see what you're looking for as far as the setup. I don't even have the 200 on here. That's what this is here. So what's that at 27? So you'd have to get through that too. And there's also VWAP there. I don't know if people actually use VWAP on the daily. So I don't know. I mean, I see it, but yeah. Yeah. I'm going to get out of here too, guys. I'll give you my video exit, I guess, because I don't really have any other exit. I'll give you the old like and subscribe if you haven't already. Always appreciate the support. If you have any questions or comments, you had your chance. That was for earlier. So with that said, I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace. Okay, that's kind of what my outro would be like. But with that, I am just going to say bye. I hope you guys had fun. Hope you learned something. Next Friday, bring some questions. Probably going to just do another topic that will take the first hour. The last half hour will be used for kind of like questions and whatever else, chit chat and stuff like that. And I hope you guys have a good weekend. I had a great week this week. Hopefully next week will be just as good. We can keep the month of May going, keep this green streak going. And I look forward to talking to you guys. Leave some comments in my videos. I love the interaction. Let's keep this chat going throughout the week so we don't have to wait until Friday night. And that's that. So I will talk to you guys later.